I would have made my mother sick if she could see how proud I was to hold hands with a white girl. How my backbone stood so tall and erect when we walk hand-clasped through whites-only areas. Anglo pavements where 17-year-old me tucked kinky hair underneath baseball caps and oversized black hoodies, a place where I learned to negate my blackness, as if I could be read as anything other than that in their eyes. And since white blonde girls were my unsung reflections and mirrors, I figured being loved by one would at least get me closer to the whiteness never written in my own skin. On the first night she introduced me to her father, "Daddy, this is my girlfriend." His blue eyes bucked wide, flashing words that read whites only. Segregation split his mouth wide open, and I could hear the jump Jim Crow in his baritone as he cleared the buildup in the back of his throat. His eyes held that same gawking, same spit-to-face disgust of generations that came before him who too would have disapproved of his daughter's love for a Negro girl, would have wedged borders between our bodies with my severed limbs, as a reminder of the strange fruit that comes of fancying America's emblem of innocence and purity. And I watched his daughter, my partner, scurry to pick up his disapproval off the ground as she lists off reasons as to why I wasn't like all the other black kids they must have talked about during family dinners. "Daddy, she writes poetry and she dances. She may even show you some of her moves." This would be the first time I recognized this body to not be body at all. To be flesh, to be object, a product, a package, a marionette dangling upon her finger, showing me off to her daddy as if my blackness needed an explanation, an asterisk that read, "Whites friendly, special, talented, not a thug, trained, acceptable to bring around during Christmas time, that non-threatening kind of blackness," and it was like nothing the rhetoric of 1865 insidiously familiar to her own tongue sold. Suddenly, her voice broke from the sound of suburban blonde to auction block auctioneer. "Y'all, this nigger writes poetry and she dances. Show them your moves, nigger." Sold. The ground below me shakes thunderously, and the war-winning floor beneath my feet turned warm with a plank, a platform, a block, and my limbs are moving. Sold. Suddenly jigging. Sold. Driving. Sold. Feet shuffling to an unsung gospel. A whole audience now of white relatives, of Livermore, of Pleasanton, of Dublin, of San Ramon, of Santa Cruz, consumptive white body screaming, "Dance, nigger, ha, dance, ha, dance." Mid-dance, my shirt flies upwards, exposing the sort of ripe, ready breasts bearing the sweetest milk they ever longed for. Sold. Flesh bends over forward. All black crescent moon, ass out, call it a cup holder. Sold. I hear them ask, "Is it true black women having large clitorises?" Hell, the other response, "There's only one way to find out." Sold. "Daddy, she writes poetry and she dances. She may even show you some of her moves." Her daddy's formerly gritted teeth turned pleased, erecting the most carnivorous smile flesh had ever seen. And it would be years later till I ever stopped dancing, because to be a black girl displaced in the suburbs is to want nothing more than to disappear. And my God, those white folks had such a way of making me feel like I was the most exceptional, jigaboo dancing, special black girl they ever did see.